Did you know that the fashion industry is the second largest polluter in the world, right behind oil? Every year, over 100 billion pieces of clothing are produced, and most of them are worn only a few times before they end up in landfills. Shockingly, the average person buys 60% more clothes than they did just 20 years ago, but they only keep them for half as long. But here's the good news: you can be part of the change. In this video, we'll explore how focusing on quality instead of quantity can not only save the planet but also save your wallet. From discovering eco-friendly fabrics to learning the art of lasting wardrobe staples, we'll dive into practical strategies that you can start using today to make a real impact. Stick around, and you'll also get some insider tips on how to repurpose your clothes, shop smarter, and choose brands that truly care about the environment. The fashion world is changing, and it's time for us to change with it. Ready to take the first step? Let's dive in. Chapter 1: The Slow Fashion Revolution. Slow fashion is more than just a buzzword, it's a movement. It's all about moving away from fast fashion and focusing on mindful consumption. Rather than buying into trends that fade in a season, slow fashion encourages us to invest in pieces that last. According to Fashion Revolution, 100 billion garments are produced every year, and most of them end up in landfills after only a few wears. By embracing slow fashion, we help reduce this waste. Brands like Patagonia and Stella McCartney have been pioneers in this space. They prioritize longevity and use eco-friendly materials. The slow fashion movement isn't just for designers, it's a call for consumers to rethink their buying habits. A study by the Ellen MacArthur Foundation found that if we keep buying and discarding clothing at the current rate, the fashion industry will account for 26% of the world's carbon emissions by 2050. Slow fashion champions quality over quantity. It's about buying less, but buying better. This means considering the environmental impact and longevity of the items you purchase. It's a way to make conscious choices that align with our planet's needs, reducing our carbon footprint with every garment we choose to invest in. Chapter 2: Fabric that loves the earth. Sustainable fabrics are key to reducing fashion's environmental toll. Materials like organic cotton, hemp, and tencel use fewer chemicals, water, and energy to produce. Organic cotton, for example, uses 91% less water than conventional cotton. Hemp is another fabric that's been gaining attention. It requires little water and no pesticides to grow. A little known fact: hemp fabric is also naturally resistant to UV rays and mold. One of the most exciting fabrics in sustainable fashion is tencel, made from sustainably sourced wood pulp. It uses a closed-loop process, meaning most of the chemicals used in production are recycled. This process ensures that tencel is far more eco-friendly than many other fabrics. Brands like Reformation and Patagonia are already using these materials to produce stylish, sustainable clothing. Consumers are beginning to realize that not all fabrics are equal when it comes to sustainability. It's about learning what fabrics last and what fabrics harm the environment. Natural fibers like wool and linen, for instance, are biodegradable. This is a huge contrast to synthetic fabrics like polyester, which can take up to 200 years to decompose. Chapter 3: Crafting timeless pieces. The art of wardrobe longevity. Timeless fashion is about choosing pieces that transcend trends. It's about finding quality over quantity. When you focus on buying high-quality items that are versatile, you end up wearing them for years. These pieces don't need to be replaced each season. Consider this: if you spent $100 on a shirt that lasts for 5 years, it would cost you only $20 per year. Compare that to buying 5 $20 shirts that only last one season each. Sustainable fashion means focusing on durability. It's about selecting well-made items that don't fall apart after a few washes. It's about embracing garments that become better with age, like a favorite leather jacket or a well-worn pair of jeans. Clothes made from high-quality materials often require fewer repairs and last longer, making them a more cost-effective choice in the long run. One rule of thumb is to look for classic styles that won't go out of fashion. A simple, well-tailored blazer or a sturdy pair of boots are examples of investment pieces that you'll keep coming back to. The idea is to buy smarter, not more. And remember, sustainability isn't just about the fabric, it's about how the garment was made and whether it was designed to last. If you like this content, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for more tips on sustainable fashion and living. Chapter 4: Repurposing and Restyling. A new life for your clothes. Instead of throwing away old clothes, why not give them a second life? Upcycling and restyling are two great ways to make your wardrobe sustainable. Upcycling is all about taking what you already own and turning it into something new. You can transform an old dress into a skirt, or a worn-out sweater into a pillowcase. Not only does this save clothes from the landfill, but it's also a creative way to refresh your wardrobe without buying anything new. Repurposing doesn't just save money, it also helps reduce waste. Studies show that 85% of textiles end up in landfills each year. But by getting creative with your clothes, you help combat that waste. Companies like the Renewal Workshop are showing how clothing can be renewed, repaired, and resold, keeping garments in circulation for longer. Restyling your wardrobe also gives you the chance to discover pieces you might have forgotten about. You don't always need to buy something new to feel fresh. Try experimenting with different ways of wearing your clothes, layering, accessorizing, or mixing and matching. You'll be surprised at what you can create with what you already own. Chapter 5: The Ethics Behind the Label. Understanding fair trade fashion. Fashion isn't just about what you wear, it's about who makes it. The ethics behind the label are just as important as the garment itself. Fair trade certification ensures that workers are paid fairly, work in safe conditions, and are treated with respect. Fair trade fashion brands prioritize these values over cheap labor, making sure the people who make our clothes are valued. More consumers are demanding transparency from fashion companies. The Conscious Fashion campaign encourages consumers to ask brands about their supply chain. They want to know if the workers are paid a living wage and if the company is committed to environmental sustainability. Brands like People Tree and Reformation are leading the way in transparent, ethical production. Buying fair trade doesn't just help workers, it helps the environment too. When brands invest in ethical practices, they often prioritize sustainable materials and processes. This means that purchasing from these brands helps reduce environmental damage while supporting fair labor practices. It's an easy way to make a positive impact. Chapter 6: From Closet to Conscious. Cultivating a sustainable mindset. Becoming a conscious consumer starts with shifting your mindset. It's about being intentional with your purchases, resisting the urge to buy fast fashion, and focusing on your values. Studies show that 60% of people who are aware of the environmental impact of fashion are willing to pay more for sustainable clothing. To develop a sustainable mindset, take the time to ask yourself, do I need this? And, will this piece last? It's about becoming more mindful of how your choices affect the planet. Start by buying less but choosing wisely. Focus on quality, longevity, and ethics. Another strategy is to embrace a capsule wardrobe. This method encourages you to create a minimalist wardrobe with versatile pieces that can be mixed and matched. Not only does this reduce the need to buy constantly, but it also simplifies your life. And when you do make a purchase, focus on sustainable, ethical brands that align with your values. If you found these tips helpful, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for more ways to live sustainably and stylishly.